Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to a new video on the channel. In today's video, we're taking a closer look at the tool Ahrefs. If you haven't heard about Ahrefs before, Ahrefs is essentially an SEO tool that is close, or I wouldn't really say similar to SEMRush, but it has some similar functionalities to SEMRush. It is a tool that I would recommend you to use if you are into SEO, if you're running a business, if you're just doing SEO as a side project, or if you're working with SEO full time. Ahrefs is a super beneficial tool to use specifically for backlink analysis. Now with that being said, this will be a very beginner friendly tutorial, so if you never used Ahrefs before, or if you just heard of it and want to know how the tool kind of works and if it's actually worth your money to actually get the tool, then this video right here will be the perfect video for you to watch. With that being said, let's just jump into this tutorial and hopefully you guys do enjoy. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just to make sure that you use the Ahrefs free trial. I think they have a 7 or 14-day free trial that you can use with Ahrefs. So if you're interested in that, you can use the link down in the video description to get access to that free trial. Now, with that being said, the first thing you'll see when you log into Ahrefs is that you'll have a lot of different options at the top. You'll have the dashboard, you'll also have the site explorer, keyword explorer, site audit, rank tracker, content explorer. Most of these are kind of self-explanatory. Keyword explorer, obviously going to be a great way for you to kind of expand your keyword base and the keywords that you use on your current website or the project that you're working on. Site audit will just do a site audit of the website that you're working on or the project you're working on. Obviously, you can audit someone else's website as well if you kind of want to look at the issues that a competitor might have or a potential client might have before you approach them and try to sell them SEO. After the site audit, you also have rank tracker. Rank tracker is obviously also very self-explanatory. It would just track the rank of your keywords. So you kind of get a better rank tracking compared to what you would get in Google Search Console, for example. It's kind of like a more user-friendly way of using Search Console, I would say. Obviously, it's a bit more advanced as well. After that, you also have Content Explorer. Content Explorer will be a great way to kind of explore new types of content ideas that you might want to try out. It also gives you a way to find potential blogs or news websites that you want to use for your backlink projects. So if you're trying to do outreach, this will be a great way to find potential blogs to work with or brands to work with. So the Content Explorer is going to be a great tool to use not only for content ideas, but also for your outreach activity. Now, what we will be looking at today is actually going to be the Site Explorer. The Site Explorer is going to be the tool you will actually be using a lot more, I feel like. And this is also one of the features or one of the tools that I've been using the most as well, using Ahrefs. The very first thing is here we want to put a URL or a domain. Obviously, these can be for any brand. It can be your brand or your competitor, whatever it is. In my example right here, I think we'll just be doing some random brand here. So why don't we just try Gymshark? Let's see here, gymshark.com. Once we clicked on search, we'll get all of this data right here. Some of you might already be confused and be asking yourself a lot of questions. What is this data? What do I do with it? What does this mean to me? Obviously, you have a lot of help in here. So if you're new to SEO, for example, obviously you can just hover over each of these things and it will kind of tell you in short what each of these elements are. So you don't have to worry too much in terms of the data, but just break it down to you right here, right now, in terms of just the overview that you got. Obviously, we have the Ahrefs rank. This is kind of like a rank based on Ahrefs' own metrics in terms of how the domain overall is ranking in comparison to every other domain out there in the world. Obviously, Ahrefs doesn't have all domains in the world, but they have a pretty big database. So this Ahrefs rank is essentially just based on their ranking criteria and based on their metrics that they use to calculate the value of each individual domain. Next, we have UR. UR is going to be your URL rating. Let's see what they explain as here. Shows the strength of a target page link profile on a 100-point scale. Yeah, that's kind of what I would say as well. It obviously ranks your URL that you put in. So let's say we took gymshark.com/men's underwear, for example. That would obviously have a different URL dependent on that specific page age and how well it's optimized and how well traffic is doing on that specific URL. Now, gymshark.com, for this example, has a 41 in UR. DR, on the other hand, is going to be the domain rating, so the overall rating of this specific domain. These two metrics, take them with a grain of salt. All of the different SEO tools, so Ahrefs, SEMRush, and all the other tools, have their own way of calculating this. It will be a bit different depending on what tool you use. But obviously it will give you some type of idea on how your brand is doing, as well as how well you're comparing with other brands as well. Now moving off of that, we have the number of backlinks. So number of backlinks will be the number of individual backlinks you have pointing towards your specific domain. So Gymshark in this example. So any page on the Gymshark website. We also are referring domains, so we can see that we have around 6,000 different referring domains, which are linking to the Gymshark website 96,000 times, right? So there's only not 6,000 different websites which are linking 96,000 times. So let's say a news website, for example, if they write an article by Gymshark, that would count as one backlink, unless they link multiple times within one article. Well, let's say they write 10 different articles through a 5-year period. Obviously, that would mean that we would have 5 different backlinks from one single domain. For organic keywords, it's just the amount of keywords that the overall website is ranking for. So this doesn't really mean a lot. Obviously, the more keywords you rank for, just more content you have, because the more content you're actually able to rank for. Doesn't mean that all of these are relevant, but still they're ranking for a lot of keywords, means that their website is quite big, they have a lot of content, a lot of pages. So overall, this is just a number you can just take a look at. Organic traffic, this is just an estimate. Obviously, this is not even going to be close to accurate how much traffic that Gymshark is actually getting from organic traffic on a monthly basis. 5.3 million seems to me like it is fairly low. But obviously it's just an estimate, so it'll kind of give you an idea on how the traffic is doing. So what you can do is just look at your domain, look in GA, whatever tracking tool you're using, and then actually see your real traffic. And then you can kind of compare it to this tool, see if it's even close or if it's just way off. Same goes for traffic value or traffic value. It's just based on a estimate between the keywords you're ranking for and how much you would normally pay for that specific traffic from a PPC point of view. Anyway, moving on, we can see the Ahrefs rank over the past 3 months, kind of like the development of the Ahrefs rank. We can see that the domain is kind of like going down at this point, which is not that bad. It could just also mean that other brands are just increasing their score while Gymshark is just staying stagnant during the time. Moving down, we have referring domains. So we can see over time how many domains they got over time. So you can see obviously here in January or July 2016, we had like a big jump, probably some good news about Gymshark, or some news article came out, and a lot of different articles came out during that same period. Down here we have referring pages as well. Obviously we have a big spike here, so this is going to be some sort of spam attack that most likely happened. I don't see any spike in referring domains. So obviously something did happen here which caused all of these referring pages. So it could potentially just be a malicious attack. Someone trying to hurt the Gymshark brand or the Gymshark website, but just linking all these domains. Now, if you want to analyze this deeper, you could actually go back in time and see what type of pages this actually was. Going down, we also have domain rating. Obviously, domain rating has been going up since the brand started, which makes sense because the brand has grown into a global brand. Going down again, we have the new and lost. This is just going to be your referring domains. Obviously, a lot of domains are being added. Some are being lost throughout time. Some websites just remove their articles or just remove their links. So that makes sense that will happen over time as well. New and lost backlinks, that also stays the same. So as you can see, some days you will be losing a lot of backlinks, some days you will be gaining a lot. Usually just kind of like plus minus zero. So you'll have some gain in the end of the day, but a lot of them will be removing their links and some will be adding. So that's just how backlinks naturally work. Going down, we have the CTL's distribution. So we can see obviously most of the backlinks are coming from .com domains. This is the most common as well. This is a UK brand, so UK, I'm expecting UK to be fairly high up. It is also a global brand, so they have Gymshark websites in a lot of different markets. I'm not sure how many, but I know they have one in Germany, so it makes sense that Germany is here, .de. It also makes sense that, let's see what else we got, IO, I'm not sure what country that is. CO, I don't think that's a country domain. NL, so we have Netherlands in here. IN is either India or I don't think it's India though. I think this is Ireland. It could be. I'm not sure. Then we have Australia. We obviously have France and Canada as well. So as you can see, we have a pretty good spread in terms of the distribution. That is something you would expect from this specific domain because it is a global brand. Now, if your website is based in, let's say you are a website running from Canada, for example, obviously you would like most of your backlinks coming from Canadian domains, but I probably would guess that in Canada, most companies or most websites are using .com domains. So obviously .com domains are also going to be good. It's not going to hurt your website at all. And any type of backlink is not technically going to hurt your website unless it's just spammy backlinks. If your website or if you're a company or a project or whatever it is based in Canada and a news website in, let's say, India decides to link to your website because your brand did something great, you reached a sales figure that's just amazing, or you managed to create this new amazing product, obviously it makes sense that you will get some kind of news coverage. So if someone in France or India or Sweden or Finland decides to write an article about it under their specific website, then that obviously would benefit your website overall as well. But the reason why you want your local backlinks from CTLDs that are actually from your country is that will build up your local authority within that specific market. So when people are searching within Canada, it's higher likeliness that your specific website is actually ranking within those keywords. Anyway, moving on, that was kind of a tangent, but just moving on to anchors that we have finally here at the bottom. Anchors is just going to be the tags that is most commonly used on these websites that are linking to Gymshark. Obviously, Gymshark is going to be the most common one, gymshark.com and so on. So this is just something that you could potentially look at if your competitors are targeting any specific type of anchors for potential keywords that you want to rank for as well. Anyway, moving on, we're just trying to dive in deeper here before this video drags on for way too long. What we'll do is actually go on to backlinks here on the side. As you can see, you have a lot of things you can dive in deeper to once you're looking at your competitors or your own website. So you have a lot of options here. Obviously, we don't have time to go into all of them, but going into backlinks right here, we can see that we have 24,000 groups of links. So it's obviously going to be, if there's one domain linking multiple times, they'll just try to group them to make it easier for you to look around as well. But here we have the history in the last 30 days. What we can do is look in the last 3 months if you want, maybe 6 months. But for this example, I'm just going to do 30 days. That's totally fine. I'm also going to rank these backlinks by their domain rating, because that is usually what you want to look at, as that is a metric that most people or most SEOs try to consider when they're building their backlink activity or they're just backlinks in general. Also, what you can do here is look at your do follows or no follow. Do follow links, obviously you're going to have the most value in terms of the authority that they bring to your website. What you can do is just go on do follow right here. And let's say that Gymshark is the brand that is our main competitor overall. What we can use this for is actually look at, okay, what type of backlinks do they have? Is there anything here that we could get as well for our specific website? Maybe, let's see here, so we apple.com. This is obviously from the Apple app or the App Store itself. That is obviously not something that I could potentially create at the moment. But maybe if we wanted to create an app for our website, this could be a good way for us to get an actual backlink. Although I'm not sure how valuable this one here is going to be. Now moving down, we also have a Reddit one right here. We have another Reddit one, Reddit. We have Behance. I'm not quite sure. I think this is something about resumes, it seems like. Not sure how relevant that is. We can see that we have another, we have a news website, which could be, that's obviously relevant, obviously a big authority here. We have 93 in domain rating. We have the BBC with 92 in domain rating. So obviously these are going to be relevant. Let's say we are running a brand that sells gym clothing, right? Obviously the best for us in order to grow our relevance and grow our authority within the fitness niche or fitness clothing niche would be to build backlinks from domains or websites or blogs are talking about, or at least are relevant to the fitness gym or whatever it is, right? So we want blogs to talk about us that are in that specific niche. Now, news sites, obviously they can be relevant, and all of these other ones can also be relevant and still give us some authority. But the best ones are obviously going to be the ones which are actually relevant to our business. Google will see that, Google will notice that, and Google will take that into account when ranking the specific website. Now we're talking about Gymshark here in the example. So obviously Gymshark is going to have so much news coverage. There's going to be so much news coverage because it's such a big brand and everyone is going to link to it and everyone is going to talk about it online. If we did use another example, this would look very, very different. If we were looking at a medium-sized business, we would be looking at a whole different situation here. There would be not be this many news articles. The news articles are essentially for massive brands. A normal medium-sized brand is barely gonna have one, maybe two articles about them online. Other than that, there might be some other blog posts or companies they've worked with which are linking to them. So I wouldn't really worry right here. It might seem really confusing with all of these backlinks that we have right here, but take that into account. If we're looking at a smaller brand, it will look way different in terms of the backlinks that we have. But the most important takeaway here is that obviously you can look at these brands. Is there anything that we can use for our brand? Let's say the Telegraph, for example, and we want to build backlinks from the Telegraph as well, because we already know that the Telegraph has worked with Gymshark. So why would they not work with Who is Bob and Fitness Clothing, right? Why would they not? So that is something that we can kind of use before we try to reach out to all of these websites and see if they would like to work with our brand and see how we could build that out in order to build up our domain authority. Now, there's a lot more things we can look at here. Obviously, we can look at new domains that the brand has added or new backlinks that has been added. We can also look at the lost ones. So if there's any specific backlinks that have been lost, we can try to reach out to those and try to get a backlink from those. New ones, we can do the same. They're recently added, so why don't we try that as well? Now, I don't want to dive too much deep into backlinks either. I don't want to drag this video on for way too long. What we'll actually do is jump over to the top pages section just to finish off this video with the functions that I actually use myself the most. Obviously, if you guys want more videos on Ahrefs and more detailed tutorials, let me know in the comments and we'll try to figure that out as well. In this section on the top pages, we can see the top pages for the Gymshark website. As I mentioned before, Gymshark has multiple markets. We have UK, Germany, we have Australia, I'm not 100% sure, Canada, France, Netherlands, and so on. So if you're looking at the brand and let's say your brand is in the US, for example, obviously I would try to limit it to the US so we just get results that are relevant to our specific market. Now we can also sort this by the amount of traffic that they're getting. So we can see that obviously the homepage is getting the most traffic. Obviously a lot of the traffic coming to Gymshark is just going to be branded traffic. Most people who are looking for Gymshark will just Google Gymshark and then go into the homepage. That's just the most normal transaction that will happen. The second most popular is going to be the leggings for women. Obviously, this is just 3.4% of the overall traffic, but still, this is bringing in a lot of value for the brand. Right here, we can see the search volume as well. And we also have the top keyword that the specific page is ranking for. Now, if we look at the top keywords right here, most of them are branded. We have cute workout clothes right here, which is generic. And we have some more generic ones. And it might be a bit tricky to go through and sort this out. So what we can do is actually go up to the keyword filter here at the top. Then we can click on keyword right here. And then once we click on keyword, we can just do contain. But instead of contain, we do doesn't contain. And then we do Gymshark right here. And just go ahead and click apply. Obviously, Gymshark, you can change this to whatever you're trying to look at, but I just want to see more of the generic results in this case. Now we have a bit of a more realistic picture in terms of the traffic that we could potentially get from these specific keywords that the brand is ranking for, and also a bit more realistic in terms of the traffic that Gymshark is actually getting from generic site in comparison to branded. So we can see that obviously pages shop for women is going to be the most popular page on Gymshark. The top keyword for the specific page, also cute workout clothes, which is a very specific keyword. I'm not 100% sure how come the page is ranking for that. But obviously here you can get some keyword ideas that could potentially be used for your brand as well. The third one is going to be shop for men. This one has 16,000 in traffic, which is about 4.1% of total traffic in the US market. This is. The top keyword here is going to be gym clothes for men. We can see they're ranking in position 1, which is great. If we want to look at this specific page and what they are doing in terms of content, we can just go ahead and click. Then obviously we'll open the page right here so we can see what type of content they have on these pages. Do they even have any content on these pages? Gymshark is such a huge brand, so they don't really need to. They do have some content here at the bottom from an SEO standpoint, which is just men's workout clothing, and then a small kind of like description about the men's workout clothing. But other than that, they don't have a lot of content. Gymshark is such a massive brand, so they don't need to at all, to be honest. The more well-known your brand is, the better you will just rank in Google overall, because users are more likely to click on your listing in the search results because they know your brand. So if I'm searching for workout clothing, like very generic, and then I see all of these bunch of results, right? I see a bunch of random brands I've never heard of, but then I see Gymshark, maybe I will see Under Armour, for example. Maybe I will click on those two because I already kind of know what I would expect from these two brands. While the other ones, I might not actually click on them because I have no idea what they will offer. And that way, Gymshark will just start ranking better, even though they don't really have any relevant content, because people are just more likely to click on their specific pages. So that's also something you have to take into account here as well. But as I said before, we're looking at a huge brand here, so it will look very, very different depending on what type of brand you're looking at here as well. Anyway, with that being said, this is kind of like a short tutorial on how you can use, and just an overview of what I normally use. Obviously, there's a lot more things to dive into here, so if you want another video, do let me know in the comments. Obviously, jump into Ahrefs. It might seem a bit more complicated than it actually is, especially when you're just getting started. But if you just sit down and try to play around with the tool, you'll eventually just kind of learn from experience, which is usually what I try to do. So just dive into the tool and just make sure you use the link down in the description as well, so you get your free trial on Ahrefs, so you actually have time to play around and just try the tool before you decide if you want to get it or not. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like down below if you didn't do it already in the beginning of the video. Also, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any other videos. And if you have any comments or any questions on how to use the tool or any other general SEO questions or marketing, leave it in the comments, or join our free Discord channel, which is going to be linked in the video description down below as well. That is going to be it for me. Thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.